name is Ezekiel Mutua, as you've heard. I'm the Information Secretary of the Republic of Kenya. I'm glad to see one of the photographers from my country and a lot of other people, and I saw in the program quite a number of Kenyans who will be coming to attend this conference. So I want to begin by thanking Sheila and the Africa Future Roundtable group, or the Africa Horizon Scanning Group, for inviting me to this meeting. I flew straight from Nairobi from another meeting, a conference that was attended by 4 presidents in the region. And I begin from that point because one of the critical issues that we'll be discussing at this conference is how we can harness social capital and the forces of integration to find ways and means of lifting the African populations from poverty into sustainable wealth creation, and indeed ensure that we can improve the quality of life that the greater part of the populations in Africa live in. The meeting in Nairobi that was attended by the presidents from the region and hosted by my own president was looking at how the East African integration can be pushed forward. The agenda of a common market protocol, the agenda of having one regional bloc where we can harness the populations within the Eastern African region to do business with each other, to trade with each other. As we speak, right now we have the protocol, the East African Market Protocol has already been signed, and borders have been opened up. You don't need a passport to move from one country to the other. At least I think that was very important, that people are able to just move and access the markets and do business with each other, and utilizing the populations of each country. That becomes a strength rather than weakness. And I thought that meeting was so important, because it is coming up with ways and means in which you can involve the populations into doing the things that they're able to do and turn their own fortunes, make money, utilize the opportunities that are available. Because like Sheila and Diego was saying, Africa is at a point where we have the opportunities to leap forward into middle income level, at least for most of the African countries, or even get into the super league of the rich countries of the world. But at the same time, we are facing enormous challenges and real challenges. In East Africa, we have the threat of terrorism, and I'm sure it is all over Africa and the world. And even as part of that meeting in Nairobi was to discuss how we can deal with issues of insecurity within the region, and what role each country can play, because the issue of insecurity and terrorism threats are not just issues of a particular country. When one country is attacked, the other one suffers. And so the challenge that we've been taking as a government, even from Kenya, is taking the issues of Somalia, for example, very seriously, and working with the international community to meet, to face the challenge of terrorism and ensure that we are able to make our borders safe. And so the government took a very bold decision last year to send our Kenyan Defense Forces to Somalia, following the increased cases of piracy along the coastlines, emerging from Kismayo, which has been used as the base for a long time by terrorists. And America has done quite a great deal of trying to handle that issue until we got involved. And the message I think we are getting from the success of KDF in Somalia, because we have now liberated Kismayo, and Somalia is now functioning. Of course, the threats are still there, but we are hoping that our vigilance and surveillance that we have put in place using the Kenyan forces and the Amazon is going to help to bring the issues of insecurity, to minimize the issues of insecurity in the region, so that people can be able to move and do business in an atmosphere of peace and tranquility. And I think that becomes very important. But even more critical coming to what Sheila was saying, we are looking at projections. Where do we want to be? How do we want this continent to look like? Because even the good book says without a vision, people perish. For those of you who have a Christian background like me. And I think the challenge facing African leaders has been one of lack of foresight, or even having foresight, but that we do not move from just projections and looking at a nice future, but putting mechanisms in place, both in terms of infrastructure, in, security issues and so on, and educating our populations to ensure that we are able to access that future. Kenya has a vision, we call it Vision 2030, predicated upon 3 pillars: the social pillar, political pillar, and the economic pillar. And all the different sectors playing together through what we are calling PPP, the private-public sector partnership, to ensure that everybody plays a role, people feel a sense of belonging. The ideas and policies that governments enact into law are not just policies for the government or for the politicians, but they are policies that everybody feels a sense of belonging, and we can all participate when the environment is right